Hello, Jason Niemeyer here. As you can see by the key here on the classic Ugly Stick, designed originally by Phil Craft and Guy Fuller back in 1997, I had redrawn this plan sheet back on 1/9 of 2007 with far more accurate measurements, a new wing airfoil, and a lot of different building aspects that make this set of plans a lot more enjoyable to build from. Let's scan around in here and talk a little bit about some of the features. We're in a program called DeltaCAD. It's a basic CAD program. It's available on the net. It's an awesome piece of software. It's not very expensive, and it allows you to size your drawings and view them in a very user-friendly CAD environment if you're not very familiar with CAD software. Here we have all our bulkheads. They're all labeled and sized appropriately where they need to be, so you can actually print this, cut these out of the actual material. I just cut the plans when I print them, cut them out with the scissors, spray glue them onto the wood with just 3M spray glue, and then stick it on the wood and then cut it out, and then heat the piece with your heat gun, and the paper will come right off the part with the spray glue. You don't need to put a lot of spray glue on there, just enough to keep the paper on the wood so you can cut it. Use the line, leave the line as you're cutting, cut on the outside of the line, just leave the line, and everything will work out fine for you. You can also stack, spray glue a couple pieces of wood together. You can cut enough parts to make 3 of these. Your saw blade will certainly cut that thick of material, no problem. Taking the time to cut 1, why not cut 3? Build 2 more, sell them to finance your airplane. There you go. Make a little money. Let your hobby pay for your hobby. That's what I do. Here you see the new wing designed in CompuFoil. This is the rib layout. You can see we mount our servos inside the wing on a door and a little hatch there. This is the build tab for the rear, so when you cut your ribs out, you're going to cut these notches in there too. We're using a dowel for your wing leading edge, real durable. I smacked a fence post with my plane come in on dead stick landing, didn't make it back to the field, and the wing hit that fence post, and because it had that hardwood dowel for a leading edge, it did not damage that wing. So I like using those dowels for a leading edge. You don't have to shape it either, it's already round. Anyway, this is the build tab right here, so you make sure when you cut your ribs you leave that build tab on there. Now I do go ahead and cut into this area here a little bit and a little bit, so those tabs are easier to break off when you're ready to do that. But that just keeps the wing from rocking on your building board, so you got to keep that build tab on there. Pretty nice feature. Gee, what else can I tell you about? We've got about 10 minutes here to talk about this. This, of course, would be the doubler, balsa side doubler that the wing sits on. It's right here. You can see it clearly. This little gray area. Wing blocks. Actually, this would probably go in here at a slight angle because you want the top of that bolt to be level with the taper of that wing. It won't go straight down. I drew that wrong, so, but you get the idea. Basically everything else is fairly accurate here. Here's our beautiful wing design, come right out of CompuFoil just like that. Isn't it lovely? And I just think it's great. Awesome. Now this gray area is just showing you the area of the wing that I sheeted. I sheeted from here on over to here. And that whole area is sheeted. If you want, there's the birch ply joiner pattern that goes through the center section. You can join the wing halves together if you're going to build a 2-piece wing, or you can just build it all in 1 piece. There's some options here. You can read the text when you get your plan. There's a few different ribs. They're not all exactly the same. A couple of them that are different. This is the center rib right here with this interesting little protrusion coming out of the top. That's what locks here. We don't drill for dowels or anything like that. This is quarter ply right here, the center rib section, and it locks into that bulkhead with the notch right here. See how it's notched into that? That's my own design there. And I'll tell you what, with two bolts back here and that notched into that quarter-inch plywood bulkhead, that wing is not coming off of that plane. I don't care what you do to it or how big a motor you put on there. That wing is staying put because you've got a lot of strength right there in that quarter-inch piece of ply. Nothing glued onto that wing or into that wing. That whole part, that whole rib is going into the middle of that wing, and it's quarter-inch plywood. So ain't nothing going to break there. Totally strong. I've just never had any problems with that. And this is just this CompuFoil wing program. I don't know if anybody's ever messed with that. What an awesome tool that is. Gosh, you can just design all kinds of beautiful wings in this program. You can call up anywhere from 200 different airfoils. Some of them tested and researched, wind tunnel tested. Some knockout numbers that you can generate aren't tested, so you got to be careful with that. You don't know what you're going to end up with when you start throwing numbers into that NACA generator. But I generally like to go with stuff that seems to be proven, and this airfoil it's basically a fully symmetrical airfoil. It's kind of a toss-up between a predictable, stable, but aerobatic airfoil. It's thick to give, or thicker anyway I should say, to give the airplane a little bit more stability, but not thick enough that it's going to slow the plane down and make it, doggy. It's a performance airfoil, but on the other hand, it's also a stable airfoil, so it gives you a balance. The proof is in the flying. I mean, that plane handles well. I built a couple of Sig Hog Bipes, 16% larger than they actually produced the kit, with the same airfoil when I redesigned the wings for that. And I'll tell you, it's just a beautiful airfoil. I would use it on any sport airplane that you just really want to have a lot of fun with. It's a great airfoil. Gosh, I just don't know what else to tell you about the plane. You can see the plans here. The scallops are all in there, looking real good. Just cut those all out. Cut the tail section out. Balsa. Don't know what else you might want to take a look at. Just look at that beautiful wing design. Again, this section of the wing is sheeted here, and the leading edge is sheeted as well. And that really looks nice. We put quarter balsa out here for the wingtips. You don't have to do that. You can leave them square, or you can put a block out there and round them up if you like. Numerous options on that end. I've put up to over a 60 size engine on. I've flown it with a 70 size 4-stroke. It flew well. It wasn't spirited by any means, but I also had a 48 on it before, and that flew it really well. And I've also put clear up to a 60 on it, and that flew it just blindingly, endless vertical. So wide engine range there, and again, you do not have to worry about that wing coming off of there. It's just locked into that bulkhead. It isn't going to come off of there. No way. Beautifully strong wing.